Hello and welcome to my dining table. It's hard to believe, but we actually do manage to eat dinner on this mess sometimes. I'm here today to answer some questions about creating and connecting through creativity. One of the first questions is, how do you use science to be more creative? What a great question! The way that I use science is so simple. I go to the science news and I see what's happening in the world. For example, I have here a cheat sheet of 6 different cool things that are happening in the world. These are just what I think are cool. 6! So get a load of this, right? This is what's happening this week in science. 1, astronauts. So for the first time in years, American astronauts are going to blast up to the International Space Station on a US rocket, on an American rocket. And that rocket is a privately owned rocket, right? So it's Elon Musk's private fleet, the SpaceX company. And these astronauts are going to pay, I think it's like $30 million for a seat on what's basically a taxi, a space taxi. And it's called the Dragon. How would you feel? What could happen? You know, the ideas that come from that are endless. Following from that is another cool thing happening in science. This is Richard Branson's rocket. So what he's done, he got like a 747 and like flew it along this big jumbo jet and then dropped a rocket out of the plane and tried to launch it. Dog blood donors. Did you know that dogs could be blood donors? There was an MFO over Victoria. An MFO. A UFO is an unidentified flying object. An MFO is a maybe identified flying object. They think it was a piece of space junk from a Russian rocket. It was burning like a fireball across the sky. A pelican landed in a town near Alice Springs, 1,500 kilometers from the beach. That blows my mind. Where was he going? Where was she trying to get to? What was the plan? How did this happen? There are so many cool story ideas that come from science. So you know those batteries that you put in your toys, right? Little AA, AAA batteries? Only 3% of those are ever recycled. So this company, Lithium Australia, is like, what can we do? What these guys are doing are treating the recycled batteries to extract zinc and manganese. Both of these are elements that plants really love to have as fertilizer. And they've done trials in the greenhouse, and now they're doing trials in Kojonup in WA to see whether they can use recycled batteries to improve the growth on farms. Okay, so now I have like a billion ideas, right? And this is why this next question is so good. How do you narrow down all those ideas until you have just one focal point for a story? You just know this is the story that I want to write. But in your heart, you know that one idea is calling you more. Like one idea is demanding to be written. It was so cool and so funny or so gross or so exciting that you want to explore it more. What part of nature inspires you most? Being in nature does something to my brain, and they've actually mapped this out scientifically. So if you're the kind of person who walks down the street and you're just daydreaming and you're thinking and things are popping in your head and popping out again, then you can be a very creative person because you're open to possibility. But if you're the kind of person that as you're walking along, you've got your earphones in and you're listening to music, or you're at the traffic lights and they go red, so you pull out your phone and check your mail in the 30 seconds that you have to wait. If you're that kind of person, your brain is constantly taking on new things and processing new things, and there's very little time for it to just go, oh yeah, dude, let's hang out, let's look at the sky. Oh, there's a story idea. So it's like a balance for me of stuffing my brain full of interesting things and then time just to go, let's have a cup of tea. Or let's go for a walk in the forest and think of nothing in particular. And then bing, 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 my brain just starts to get creative and I want to make stuff. So how do you get in touch with nature when the weather's awful? This is happening a bit in Western Australia at the moment. Can't really get outside to play or climb a tree because it's pelting with rain. But in those moments, I'm grateful for the rain, right? I'm grateful for the bad weather because it means I can stay inside and cuddle my dog on the couch and read a book, make something, watch a movie with my family, play a game. So if the weather's bad, that's a time for you to be creative, to go into your cave and make something. So I hope that's answered some of your questions. If you have any other questions, please shoot them through and I'll try and answer them for you. Next week and the week after, we've got 2 more exciting mentors. So get your entries in, start making something, create your way to happiness.